virtual photo walks.
Hey there everyone, good afternoon. My name is Dominic Phillips and I'm here today at the Butterfly Pavilion in Westminster, Colorado, here with virtual photo walks, and it's a beautiful day in between a little bit of bad weather out here. So we're gonna get out of the chilliness here and go explore a little museum of invertebrates. We'll see a room full of a whole bunch of different creepy crawlies. We'll do a little under the sea trip, and then we will explore the arboreum here in the Butterfly Pavilion, where they have thousands of different butterflies that we'll just stroll around and watch. And if you guys have any questions, any comments, or anything that you want to see in particular, just let us know. I'm here for you, and I will try to show you something from my perspective as best I can. So thanks again for joining us, and we're gonna take a walk inside. So now normally, if we weren't at the tail end of winter, the Butterfly Pavilion has a lot of different nice nature walks. So they do have lots of different examples of local plant life that you can put in to encourage yard visitors. Also on the far side over near this giant praying mantis statue, they have a good maybe acre over there. It goes down by some water, and this morning I was already watching some hawks and some ducks down in that area. But the real sights are going to be inside here. So they have a butterfly release that they're doing at 12:30, and hopefully we will be able to get inside there and see some of their new butterflies that have been released. Fair warning, right now I'm going to let you know I will not be holding Rosie the tarantula. However, we'll probably get some good shots of some other people that are probably a little more brave than I am concerning spiders. Oh, definitely. In fact, yep, talk to come. We're doing a live photo walk. We have a couple of children's hospitals and some group homes that are watching us live, so we're going to go through and see all the fun invertebrates that you have here today. Excellent. You know, as they're saying, 97% of the world's animal species are invertebrates. So those are animals with no backbone. So we're going to see dragonflies, we're going to see butterflies. We will also see a number of arachnids here. They will all be behind glass. And they do, like I said earlier, we'll be releasing butterflies today. They release butterflies, I think, a couple hundred at a time. And depending on the butterflies, you know, each of them have a different lifespan. And this is Rosie. So this is the Chilean rosehair tarantula. Correct. Excellent. I got it right. And she's a sweetheart. In fact, a lot of people get the I held Rosie at the Butterfly Pavilion stickers.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, here
Get a close up. Get a close up, Dominic.
All right.
I want to see a close up of that critter.
We will, we will.
All right. Here we go. Oh!
She's kind of tired right now. She's probably had a big day.
I'll give her $5 if she puts that on your head.
Oh, no, thank you. You know, I think my important job is to keep the camera steady, and I don't know if that would work. You know, and while I say, you know, I'm a little nervous, there's really no reason to be nervous of Rosie. For me, it is kind of an irrational fear of spiders. But all day long, Rosie is very friendly with children of all ages, people of all ages. You know, can come in and hold her. She is you have to be very, very gentle with Rosie, though, because of their circulatory system. You have to be very careful as far as any sort of little breaks or snaps. She's very susceptible to danger or injury from that. Zoom in and grab a couple photos here for you guys. Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
So now also this area of the Butterfly Pavilion also has a pretty wide selection of different invertebrates here. Now we have ones that I don't know if definitely not on the hold normally list. The Mexican red-legged tarantula.
That's big.
He's got some beautiful colors on him. Also cactus longhorn beetles.
Yeah, I'm coming in at 1, but I can start right now. I'm like, yeah.
So one of our more prevalent bugs here, we have cockroaches. So these are orange spotted cockroaches, and they are normally found in the eastern half of South America. You know, and these guys, if you've ever been with us out on Hawaii, cockroaches are pretty prevalent out there. And they are, while some people think they're sort of dirty bugs, they're actually some of the bugs that keep, you know, a lot of things clean for us. They survive off of the detritus and things that live kind of at the bottom of the forest level.
If this was an episode of Survivor, Dominic, you'd eat that.
Absolutely. You know, I think I would probably be okay with that. Now this guy, I have to admit, I cannot find the walking stick in here, which is kind of how the walking sticks work. Oh, there they are. Oh, look at that, actually. Well, let me see if I can stop it. And we have, along this edge over here, these are the walking sticks.
Oh, I see. Well, isn't that cool?
And then there's a line of a number of them here. And let's go see if we can look at them from the rear here. As I lean this in. So there are our walking sticks. So there's about a half dozen of them.
Excellent.
So these guys, even though they're against the glass, you know, they escaped my sight until I was right up on them. So if they were actually crawling around, you know, in the leaves and branches, I'd imagine that they would be pretty much invisible. Now this guy is a rhinoceros beetle. And we can look down. I don't know if you can see him from here. I'll go ahead and walk around the side of the podium here. So this is their rainforest part of the exhibit. And this is where you will see beetles like this rhinoceros beetle here, he is about the size of my hand. And it looks like he is munching on a little piece of cantaloupe, and he's got some strawberries in there. So while he does have a pretty menacing looking horn, this guy is a little vegetarian.
Rhinoceros.
Now, yes. So now also, here are some giant South American cockroaches. Now these guys, again, are kind of the cleaning crew of the jungle. So while they are big, and some of you guys are probably familiar with like palmetto bugs and things like that, these guys eat detritus. So that means that the leaves that get down onto the bottom level, or the parts of the plants or trees that start to decompose, that's what these little guys eat. To give you another idea here on how big these guys are, there's one against my finger here.
My goodness. That's quite something.
So big guys, but not something you're normally going to see in nature, because again, they're going to be kind of at the bottom level of everything, you know, cleaning up behind everything that the jungle has left behind.
I'm going to send some questions through to Susie about some of these beetles, and the kids who answer correctly are going to get a pair of Google socks. So how's that?
Excellent. The
Yeah.
Google socks.
Yeah,
I have to say, I enjoy my Google socks.
Well, you
I'm
better
not
be
wearing them
now.
today, but I have a little neck strap on. So now in our tour of invertebrates here, we are now moving on to the water's edge. So this is a full saltwater and freshwater exhibit, again specializing in invertebrates. And all along and throughout the Butterfly Pavilion, they do have all sorts of information about the creatures that we're seeing here. You know, if you're ever in the area, I definitely suggest a stop by. It makes for a great day, great afternoon. Now this guy, he is a blue variety of something that I am very familiar with growing up in Kentucky and going creeking. We don't have the blue crawfish. We have a lot of the normal ones, but you can see this guy has a nice iridescent blue. And this guy will be found in Florida, and that is around as much as we'll see him. So they don't have a very large roaming area or habitat area. Oh, now in here with the lobsters,
Oh boy.
we seem to have a rather large shell crab as well. So now, most of you guys are going to be very familiar with, you know, a hermit crab, which he looks similar to a hermit crab.
He's huge.
However, exactly, if you, I don't want to startle him here, but I'm going to put my hand up next to him, and you can see this guy is large. But not to be outdone, we have a ridged slipper lobster here. And he is, as we can see, right up here. He's not the fastest mover, but we can kind of tell why they call him a slipper lobster. Because unlike, you know, some of the other lobsters that have the big forward claws, this guy
I got a question of what type of butterfly would a gecko from Georgia State live on? And we're gonna have to ask one of the experts when we come across them. We get into that section.
I think so, exactly. You know, if they're anything like the geckos that we know, I think they would be more than happy with any butterfly that they got. There is a little bit of there are different animals out in the butterfly room. So we do see there's some red-eared sliders and some turtles. There's also, I believe, a African tortoise, which I still haven't seen. I think actually might be moved because of construction, but we'll see what's out there. And there's also a ring-necked dove. And I think all of them are perfectly fine with any butterfly, but it's not too many of them that they really do any sort of, you know, damage to the butterfly population in there. So also in here too, in the invertebrates, we do have some coral banded shrimp, which are some little guys hanging out on the underside of the rock here. But also part of the exhibit here, we also have a number of starfish. So these guys are, now I'm looking at the sign here with the back of our finger. We're gonna test out and see what these guys' texture is. So definitely some cold water there. And these, I have to imagine these guys put up with quite a bit here. So these are the troopers of the starfish. I have some smaller ones in here, some kind of masters of camouflage, but also a brittle star.
You can see him right now. He's just burying himself. It's really hard to see from here.
Oh, all right.
He's just starting to bury himself. It's a sand sifter sea star.
So this is a sand sifter sea star, and you might be able to make him out. He is right here, and they will only really see him if he does move.
I think I can see an eye looking back at me, and that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. Just barely. You can see a little bit of the stuff sloughing off his side there as he's trying to bury himself. And he's one of the many little guys. There's lots of different corals in here as well.
Couple fish. Mostly this coral as well.
Yeah.
Beautiful ones. Urchins. Over there, full of stuff on top of their heads. And this here is a carpet anemone. Really amazing looking. It will actually grab its food if something goes in there.
Oh, wow.
The colors are amazing, Dominic.
A lot of people love the bubble coral because of the tentacles that stick out.
Excellent. Yeah. So these are great. Now when we do head out to the Big Island, you know, we're still trying to figure out ways to get you underwater with me. But there's a lot of coral reclamation and farming projects out there. But also with that, we've been dealing, at least out on island, with some invasive species. We have some crown of thorns starfish, which are some rather large starfish that are just because they've moved out to our area, aren't getting along so well with the natural environment. But here, all these species work together in the same environment normally.
Yep.
So this is exactly those colors that you're seeing there. That's, you know, just healthy corals, which part of the information part of this is, you know, making sure people understand, you know, how everything works together out in the wild, and you know, trying to spread information about that. And so again, I'm grabbing pictures as we go along. If any of you guys have any questions, feel free to ask John. He'll convey them to me, or on the YouTube chat, and I'll see if we can find some answers to your questions. So we're going to take a quick look at some of the horseshoe crabs here, and then we will move our way into the butterfly exhibit.
But that's the one.
Aha! Hello!
Oh, look at that!
Rock on. So this is a horseshoe crab. Oh, and he looks like he's trying to get up to talk to us here. You know, and I'll see if I can lean in and get you guys a even closer look here.
Okay, kids, that's going to be one of the questions for a pair of Google socks. Remember the name of that for later.
So yeah, he is leads us to a couple jellyfish and some crabs, and then we'll enter into to the butterfly area.
The colors are great.
Excellent. So this guy is an upside-down jellyfish. He can be found down in the Caribbean, around Florida, up into the Gulf of Mexico, but then also in Southeast Asia. So a lot of you know, Philippines, you know, all the way even down to northern Australia.
My shell's all turned down.
And we see him because normally we see jellyfish that kind of float around with their big bells on top. But as you can see, these guys are almost like anemones. except they're not attached. They're actually just kind of sitting there on the bottom, filtering through whatever they can find down at the base there. Now we're going to see one more little crab here in the back. And if you can see him just to the left of the strawberries, and it looks like some dog food. We have a little crab right there. And this guy also will be on coastal regions in Central America, is where all of the, or most of the magic at the Butterfly Pavilion happens. It's the Wings of the Tropic exhibit. And about a half an hour, they just had a butterfly release where they released, I believe, normally at least a couple hundred butterflies at a time. And this little display here will give us a good example of just some of the butterflies that we'll see inside this exhibit. I'll pan all the way up here. Now, some of these butterflies I've seen before out here. Some of them I have not had the privilege of spotting yet. But as you can see, you know, the colors and shapes of all these butterflies, there's a wide range of stuff in here. So these rooms here, we have an entrance room and an exit room. Oh, and one thing that we are going to be very careful of, well, see if he can go back out.
I like it much better in the rainforest.
Oh, yeah. So we have fans that we're going through, and we will probably fog up here just for a second as the humidity in here. Most of these butterflies really love their tropical weather. So you can see the mist kind of hanging in the air here. And the room that we just came from had lots of different fans in it. And then after we make our way around this interior, we have an exit room as well where they have fans and where they will check us to make sure that we didn't have any butterflies land on us on our way out. Let me tell you, already, I will
look at that.
Grab a little spot here and just hold still. And we'll try to get a lot of good close-ups as we go along here, and I'll be taking some photos.
Oh, look at them all.
Again, I'll be taking photos as we go along here. But if there's anything you guys want to see, let me know. I do have a little butterfly book with me. And we do have a number of volunteers along the way, so if we need to ID any butterflies, we might get a little help. You know, as you know, with virtual photo walks, I try to just bring you along with, on some of the trips that we take and share some of the local stuff. However, I'm not really an expert, so I will try to answer any questions you have. And we may have to do this a couple times until the inside and the outside of the lens get to the same humidity level here. So we'll see a lot of different smaller orchids and some wonderful plantings along the way. And even though this is a controlled environment, it is wintertime out here. As we get into and move into springtime, this place really is just full of amazing blooms. We're going to try and get up right on this.
Oh, yeah, hold it steady.
Here.
You got them. Beautiful. And we backed this up with the sick kids so that they could watch on the YouTube channel as well as participate. So if they drop out or whatever, they kept another screen going. So
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Well, we have backup. That's great shot, Dominic. Nice and clear. Your reception is perfect in there.
Oh, good to hear. Good to hear.
The Verizon Jetpack's working great.
Oh, had one pointed out down this way. Lots of beautiful blues. There's also some great iridescent green ones out here. And as we see, these guys are all over the place.
I'm surprised how close you can get.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They're you know, they're used to a good amount of people walking around here. And you know, again, as I mentioned, a lot of these butterflies, you know, have different life cycles. So some of these guys, or some of these little bugs, are going to be around for just a couple of weeks. Some of them will be here for months. And as far as butterflies go, one of the longest-lived butterflies is the Monarch Butterfly. Some of you will know them. They are some of the largest and sometimes known as one of the more colorful butterflies. But they also are one of the butterflies that travels the longest distance as far as any sort of migration goes. Let's see if we can calm down and see some of the flock of butterflies in here. Yeah, so now you understand those rooms that we went through, the ones that keep the butterflies in. It's almost like an airlock, like you would see on a spaceship. When you see just how many butterflies are in here, it really makes sense why they have to check you going in and out.
Some of them are, what, 4 or 5 inches across?
Oh yes, oh yes. In fact, as we get to the other side of this little exhibit, we will see an owl butterfly. And when we see him from his side, and we'll probably see a number of the owl butterflies as we move through here, but you'll be able to notice it because they look like they have a big eye. We might be able to spy a view of our African tortoise. And we'll see if the tortoise is in. But in our foreground right here, in the feeding tray, this is one of the owl butterflies. Now he's sitting at a little bit of an angle. We'll see if we can find another one which shows his wing a little better. But if you can make out that little spot, when they're sitting on a branch or a tree or on a leaf, that eye really looks like the eye of an owl. So it keeps the predators from pouncing on them. That's one of their many defense mechanisms. You know, some bugs in nature try to be as colorful as possible, because a lot of times the most colorful things sometimes don't taste good or are poisonous. So some butterflies rely on looking mean, and then other butterflies rely on blending in. So let's see here. Now, when I'm moving around here, I'm moving very cautiously because a lot of these butterflies will just come and land on the ground in front of you. So you really have to be careful when you're walking around in here, just in case. Here, and I'll show you two here on the ground. I just had this one pointed out to me. This again is why we try to be very cautious when we're walking around here and mindful of what might just be underfoot. But as we move up, we can see we have a couple hanging out right on the butterfly sign. Now, a lot of the butterflies, when they release them, like I said, they've only just been out of their. Oh, just had a butterfly land on my head. So these guys.
Susie, send me any questions you have. I'm talking to Susie on. She's watching on YouTube.
Oh, excellent. So we can see these guys kind of have some wrinkly wings. So when they get released, sometimes they have to sit here and sit in the sun for a little while before they can fly off. I'll see if I can get another little close-up of this guy here, but again, I just have some other butterflies underneath our feet here that we're just trying to watch out for.
You're getting closer than I've ever been able to at a butterfly park.
Yeah, this guy's kind of a little silhouette in there. But I mean, even
look at that. Look at them all.
So we have hidden back in here. There's a little monarch looking one here. But yeah, you know, thousands and thousands.
Take a bunch of pictures, Betsy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Trying to. Again, my lens of the phone is showing up, I think, just fine, but the camera lens is still a little fogged up.
Your transmission is very clear, Dominic. Just perfect.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So now those owl butterflies that I was talking about, that are some pretty big ones, they do have some larva stage in this display right here, so we can see what these guys look like before they go into their papa stage. These guys are about 3.5, 4 inches long, and as you can tell, they love their leaves for a little bit. There's a great display that shows all sorts of different butterflies in different stages. Now, we won't see too many butterflies in larva stages here because, like most butterfly pavilions, they get their butterflies from butterfly ranches that are normally down in tropical areas. So that's why about 2 times a week they do have a butterfly release, and you can show up. We sort of took advantage that one was just starting and had the rest of the place to ourselves. But like I said, this is an area where they'll do a little educational seminar, some questions with the kids as well about some of the products that come from the rainforest.
Dominic, have you got one of your guides handy?
You know, I don't see anyone, but
I got to just save a question here. The first grade class would like to know how the butterflies survive the rain in the rainforests.
Oh, gotcha. Well, you know, I can tell you right now that in here, to keep up the humidity, they do turn on the misters about every 15 minutes. And with the canopies in normal rainforests, a lot of times there's a lot of areas underneath. If we see here, you know, if it's ever raining way too hard, a lot of butterflies, along with a lot of animals, will find all the little nooks and crannies and just get out of a large storm. But when all of those raindrops are diffused down into mist, these guys just love it.
You can see a lot of the mist coming down through the trees there.
Yeah. In fact, the nozzles just came on. our little red-eared sliders live. That's one of our house turtles down there. You know, a number of little butterflies here near the pond. Also some under my feet. And, you know, I have witnessed, you know, when a butterfly gets too close to the water here, the turtles seem more than happy. So if we can get close. There he goes. So now along here is an excellent question answered here. Why rotting fruit? And we see this tray here. It's got a piece of grapefruit sliced on it. And some butterflies have evolved to feed on the juices of overripe fruit. So that means that they can live off of honeydew, tree sap, sweat, water, as well as even waste. So those guys, if it's sickly sweet, they love it. Now some of these guys are really tough to pick out because, again, if their defense mechanism isn't to stand out, their defense mechanism is to blend in as well as possible.
Yeah, you're going to have to go for the ones on the leaves, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing too good a job.
Now, here's another one, and this one I don't think will get away from us because he still has some wrinkly wings, but we can see those big spots on his side, and that is made so predators think that that is the eye of a much larger creature, and then they leave it alone. And again, even if we go over just to our right here, we see we have a lot of little butterflies on the ground after they let them go. Take a view up here. This is, I think, some good light to see some of the splashes of color that we have here. Some of the iridescent blue, the white monarchs.
Well, you got those two chasing each other right in front of your lens. It's great.
Yeah. I think it's always the season for love here in the Butterfly Pavilion. We have another guy down here he looks like he's almost dried off enough to start flying. Oh, and then one just, I can show you here, landed on my hand. You know, again, this is why it's very important to be cautious when we're walking around here. I've had a number of them set up on my head, as well as, you know, when we were just talking about the question of why the rotting fruit. A lot of these guys love the salt that's going to be in our sweat. So let me tell you, by the time I'm walking around in here, and in this rainforest-like humidity, we definitely have built up enough sweat for them to grab.
Somebody wants to know how far a butterfly can fly without rest. And I've seen the monarchs go for quite a distance.
Yeah, the monarchs, I believe they have a migratory pattern of almost 900 miles. So the monarchs, travel, a good bit of a hemisphere every single year. But a lot of these guys, they keep such a diet of sugar, and that's to keep going because they use so much energy flitting around all day long. So whereas I think the monarchs can cover, a couple 100 miles per day in their migratory patterns, most other butterflies are going to have much shorter ranges. And most of our turtles are kind of hanging out in a little shady spot. We got about 6 of them over here, just sitting on rocks. I'll see if I can zoom in and grab a couple shots. And afterwards, after the event here, when I get home, I'll quick edit these and stick up a number of photos on the event page. So in case maybe you missed something as we were moving along here, you can catch up afterwards. Also, John will have the full video, and it's a hangout on air, so you'll be able to watch it on YouTube anytime you'd like. You can see that one.
I don't think I've ever seen a white monarch before.
Let me see if I can lock this and do the advantage of the monopod. And that's about as far as my mic will let me go. So now we have a great trumpet vine up here, which are those long hanging flowers.
Well, that's another good question for the Google Socks kids. So you better remember that.
Oh yes. So again, it's sort of easy to remember because they sort of look like the bell of a trumpet. They're about the same size, and we'll take a little closer look as we get over on that trail. And then we have a beautiful hibiscus right here.
There's a shot.
If I recall correctly, the gingers are just named after their colors. So this is a kazu, or a pink cone ginger. Out at, when I do get out on island, I have a lot of yard work waiting for me. And we do have some red ginger. We have a lot of hibiscus. Again, very popular in Hawaii. Oh, now we do have another feeding tray here, and then this one. And I think since they are eating on their grapefruit, they'll probably let us get in nice and close here. And again, these are owl butterflies, just like the bird.
That's a great shot.
If you see that big spot there, when they're sitting on the side of a branch or up in the trees, again, whether it's a snake or a frog or a bird or something that would like to make a tasty treat of them, so much so that if you see there's that one just to the left there, and you can sort of see with it, if it weren't for those leaves in the background, he kind of disappears into the brown. And again, they have a nice big yellow or beige outline that makes that eye detail really stand out. The one question I didn't know is about how long or how far do butterflies fly before they have to take a rest? Now, I know the monarchs travel hundreds of miles, but other butterflies, do they just take short trips, or?
I would say it's mainly pretty short.
Yeah.
If you're not actively gliding. Monarchs are pretty aerodynamic and they cruise pretty well, but if you have to actively fly, you burn a lot of gas.
Gotcha.
And if you're living off of Kool-Aid, you have to drink a lot of Kool-Aid.
Haha.
So probably not that far.
Excellent.
Unless you're cruising.
Yeah.
That's another. I don't know if that's really been checked in all cases. But it sort of depends on how much you get around.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Most of these, if they're flower butterflies, you know, the flower doesn't like to give up sugar any more than it has to.
Yeah.
So if you watch them, they really don't spend much time, maybe 10 seconds with the flower.
Perfect.
Basically, a helicopter that has to fuel up every 10 seconds.
Excellent.
Unless you want to really start burning fat reserves.
Yep. Yep. These guys don't look like they have as much as some of us do to burn.
You know, the average butterfly lives about 2 weeks, so I mean, it couldn't go before. So.
Gotcha. Gotcha. They were just saying that the average butterfly lives about 2 weeks. And again, that's why they have the butterfly releases here about twice a week, I think, or
Twice a day.
Oh, twice a day.
We let new ones go in here every day. They die in here every day. And hopefully we maintain a relatively constant number.
Very nice.
If you come back in 3 weeks, it'll be almost entirely different than.
Oh, excellent.
If you live on Kool-Aid and you can never fix anything, you don't last that long.
Yeah.
They can never repair damage.
Very nice.
I have read that butterflies cannot live longer than a year.
Cannot live longer than a year? Oh. 2 to 3 months? Gotcha. So the owl butterflies that we were just looking at, he was saying that the ones that eat the fruit tend to live about 2 to 3 months. But again, on average, butterflies are going to be about 2 weeks in their life cycle. So this is one of the plants here that John mentioned will be one of the questions for later. We'll get right up underneath one here.
Oh my, there's a shot.
So one thing that we're saying about the Butterfly Pavilion, since they do release so many butterflies, there is pretty much something new to see every time that you come out here. And whether or not that's going to be a different flower in bloom, or a different butterfly, or again the African tortoise. We have a couple different varieties of turtles, some red-eared sliders. And then if you do have the time to wander around, and this is something I would definitely benefit from, is eventually learning what some of these plants are. Now this guy here, another plumeria, this one is has a very strong bouquet to it. This looks like a Singapore plumeria. Don't quote me on it because I don't see a nameplate here.
I can smell it from here.
Nice. now those plumerias, this one might be a little bit better view here. If you recognize the shape, those are the flowers that Hawaiian leis are made out of. So you'll see people that go and collect these, the freshly bloomed plumerias, and make necklaces out of them. There's another owl butterfly right there.
Whoa. I'm a late arrival. Where are we, John?
We're in with Dominic in the Butterfly Pavilion, close to his in Boulder.
Oh, wonderful.
And
that's a great show.
yeah, we did quite a good test here, so we've been trying to get in here for a while.
What's he shooting with?
He's got a Nexus 4, and he's on a Verizon Jetpack.
Very good.
So
Yeah,
we're
we had
with our own Wi-Fi, it's giving us a really great signal.
Yeah, really good signal today, which really helps when we're looking at some of these butterflies and their distinct colors.
Well, there you go.
And here's a plumeria bloom next to a grapefruit. And when this one opens up, you see some, when the light catches that just right, that black turns to a beautiful iridescent purple color.
Yeah, you're picking that up.
We're getting it perfectly.
At Dominic, I'm watching from Southern California. I'm out at Starbucks.
Verizon generously lent us 3 or 4 jetpacks, so it makes a big difference to our production.
John,
Oh yeah.
I'm using your Chromebook, John. How's it look?
Perfect. You're very clear, very lifelike.
So, the last time I looked.
But here, you'll see what the butterflies in different stages look like. So these guys are all from Costa Rica. And then below us, again, they get a lot of their butterflies from all over the world. So they have butterfly farms, and we can see everything from the papas to the chrysalis. And then over here on the right, we can see what some of the butterflies look like as they emerge.
Monarchs are kind of in the class by
So these guys are the real breeding butterflies. So you'll actually see them. They had just come out of their chrysalis, and a lot of them are sitting there drying off. Oh, we have one right there just coming out. Let's see if I can,
That's it.
These guys have just gotten out of their chrysalis and are spreading their wings for the first time.
Drying and flying.
Drying and flying. Exactly, and those are all Malaysian. And we'll go up here towards...
No, I think you can wrap it up, Dominic. That's a great job and beautiful reception, and you got so close to all the butterflies. It's just great.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me,
Excellent.
John.
Well, I'm glad you guys could join us today. I think I'm going to probably take a little bit of time myself and sit down and enjoy the butterflies. Again, I have to check myself for butterflies before I leave through the airlock. And it is a bit tropical in here, so it'll be nice to get out some 40-degree weather. So again, thanks everyone for joining us today. My name is Dominic Phillips. I'd like to thank everyone out there with Virtual Photo Walks for letting this happen, and hopefully you'll join us again next time, and we'll see what we can see.
Thanks a lot, Dominic. Bye for now.
Thank you guys.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Virtual photo walks. Virtual